The JFK files are releasing today. Trump made the announcement yesterday that they would be dropped today. 80,000 documents. Also, Israel has broken the ceasefire and attacked Gaza and dropped some bombs. Also, the NASA astronauts that were left stranded in space at the International Space Station are being brought home. So this is Evolution. My name is Brandon Fogel. Let's get into it. There's a lot of news to cover. Also, March Madness is it's upon us, but we got a month to talk about that. But we're gonna talk about some other things that I think are really crazy that are happening. That the JFK files are dropping today, finally. Now, I think there was a little bit of it didn't go so well when the Epstein files, that they said the Epstein files were going to drop, and that has been kind of drug out, and it has not happened the way that everybody expected it would. But at least they're talking about it. At least they're talking about it, that it will happen, and it's on the table that it's happening. It's just slowly being rolled out. It's like, so let us not forget about those, but at least it's still on the back burner. It's still something that the administration has not lost sight of, and that they're even talking about it. They're going to do it. But today, the JFK files are dropping, which that happened before I was born. I don't know if many people out there were alive when that happened, but that happened before I was born, so I wasn't in on it. I obviously was not in on it, what happened, but we're going to find out who was in on it, and did it go to because you always hear the conspiracy is the CIA was behind it. And that's is that going to be let loose, that the CIA, are they going to people that are in the government now that are running the show, they don't got much skin in the game, and I think Trump is trying to bring along people that don't got skin in the game. So, but we'll find out what happens there. We're going to actually take a look at a clip that Trump said, what he said. Here's a little clip of Donald Trump.
But while we're here, I thought it would be appropriate. We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this. And I've instructed my people that are responsible, lots of different people put together by Tulsi Gabbard. And that's going to be released tomorrow. We have a tremendous amount of paper. You've got a lot of reading. I don't believe we're going to redact anything. I said, just don't redact. You can't redact. But we're going to be releasing the JFK files, and that would be tomorrow. Do you have anything else to add to that, Carol? So that's a big announcement. They've been waiting for that for decades. Then I said during the campaign I'd do it, and I'm a man of my word. So tomorrow you have the JFK files. What time will they be released? Tomorrow afternoon. Okay.
All right. So today afternoon, because you were speaking about that yesterday, today in the afternoon, those files will be dropping. Unredacted. Now, I hope it goes better than the Epstein files, but there had been a reason about that. Like what went on there. Like, I think they overpromised, underdelivered. I think that was a whole weird deal with me, saying that before they even had all the documents, then they had to go and fire an FBI guy in New York or something and get all those documents to them. So I don't know why they were take it a little bit slow. We don't need to jump the gate, So maybe they're going to learn from what happened in that first, situation with Epstein. I think. But this is something that has been promised for a while on his campaign trail, JFK files being dropped. Are we going to see that Lee Harvey Oswald was he put in the position kind of like the recent shooter in Butler was put in the position and then taken out, Except the guy, Lee Harvey Oswald, made the shot, but the guy in Butler missed the shot. At least we're going to find out what happened, as long as we're bringing things to the light of day, I think overall, it's a good thing. It's going to be a good thing for America, trusting what is happening at the top rung of the government. and we can know that the things that they're doing in the dark, we can trust in. We can know that they're doing it for our best interest. They're doing it for our best interest, at least. I think light exposes everything. So as long as we're going in that direction, I think it's a good thing. At least we're talking about these things. All right. In some sadder news, we're going to switch to the ceasefire was broken by Israel, and they've attacked Gaza, and they've dropped some bombs. And if we just maybe step back a little bit and why they're doing this, because this issue, Palestine and Israel, is always politically charged, and everybody is either normally they're on. They come to it with an immediate bias. They're on one side or the other. It's hard to not be passionate about it. I don't want to be where I'm blinded and saying Israel does everything perfect or Palestine does everything perfect. Hamas, they're a terrorist organization. And why Israel decided to break the ceasefire and drop bombs, did it have to do with the hostages? The situation that Hamas is not willing to release certain hostages. Hamas is the one that started this. Hamas is the one that October 7th started this whole situation and pushed us into this conflict that is happening in the Middle East. So even though I am very pro-Israel, I want to come into this situation. I don't want to be a person that I'm blinded to who they are, what is happening, because I just have a ultra bias and I trust in Israel, and I believe they are God's chosen nation. But we've seen throughout history, God's chosen nation doesn't always do the best things. They're not perfect, as all humanity is not perfect. That doesn't remove their calling and who they are. So everybody is going to come to it differently in how they view it and what all went down. And I would just say maybe just take a little pause to see what is the deeper issues. Is it because Hamas is not releasing hostages that this is happening? Is it because maybe Israel does not have the best people in power over there? Netanyahu. I love Netanyahu. I think he's wonderful, but he's still not a perfect man. He's still going to make decisions that aren't going to be always perfect. But I overly lean towards trusting that they are doing something not out of just evil intention. I don't think that Israel is just doing something out of evil intention. There had to have been a reason why they broke the ceasefire, and that's going to come out. More of that's going to come out. What I'm seeing right now is it's the hostage situation that Hamas is not willing to release all the hostages. Why do we got to keep hostages? Why can't we release everyone? The Americans have been released, but maybe there are some Israel people that have not. So, and lastly, we're going to switch to the NASA. In NASA, if you're familiar with what has happened, there were astronauts that were left up in space, the International Space Station. ISS means International Space Station. It's not something else. And I had to what is ISS? They were held up there in ISS. That's the International Space Station. And just this is making me think it's space. These people were up there. Space is a real thing. You might hear space is fake by some people. You might hear it, but it's a real thing. And it matters what are we being told about is happening up there. I think as long as we're everybody is coming into it with not hiding anything. Let's let things for the truth, but maybe sometimes people can't handle the truth. Maybe that's why there are high people in government that decide we're not going to allow everyone to see everything. We don't want to show everything that's happening up there. But either way, they were up there and they were stuck up there. These astronauts were stuck up there for an extended stay, and now they are being brought home. They are being brought home, and you could say it was political by the previous administration. They did not want to allow Kamala Harris to look bad and bringing light to what was happening up there, so they held back doing that. I think it's all politics. Everything is all politics, and I don't know why we have to operate like that. And maybe it's you got to be a killer when you're in politics or in business or anything like that. You got to be a killer because you're not going to survive. And maybe these people are just cold-blooded, and they're thinking about how things appear as opposed to what's good and what's right, doing the right thing. And I would say, like, leaving those astronauts up there and not bringing them home because it might look bad is not the best way to go about it, you know? That's my opinion. That's what I think. And now that Elon Musk is a part of this new MAGA government that we have, because that's what it is. You know, it was a mandate from the people. The pendulum is always going to swing back and forth. So your side might be in power now, but the other side's going to be in power. And it's like, how do we get along, and how do we not just burn bridges and just overstep when we have power? Let's not overstep. But it gets extremely tough because it's like when the other side is just unrational sometimes, not reasonable, and they are killers. They are like huge killers. And it's hard to, when you have the reins, not inflict the same thing that they do. And you could say, well, that's what makes our side different. That's where it gets tough. That's where it gets extremely tough. Either way, it's a great thing that these astronauts are being brought home. It's a great thing. It's a good look for America. It's a good look that the Trump administration has done this, and they're not going to hold anything back. We want to make everything right. Make everything right. You know, you have your whole life to screw up. Your whole life is about screw ups and mistakes and regrets and all that crap. And it's like, why can't we just, we fudged up, let's fix it. We fudged up, let's fix it. We fudged up, let's fix it. And that's what life is, you know? And I think the new administration is trying to fix the fudge ups. So keep going and keep evolving to the best version of you.